Hey, I'm Bobbi Arlo. Make sure to check out my interview on indiebuddy.com. I wrote the song when I was 19, over I think it was like an instrumental beat or something from YouTube, but I made the chorus, and the chorus kind of stuck, and I brought it to Adam as just drafts, just so he could have it just in case he wanted to work with it. Adam's my producer. And basically he was like, the chorus is really strong, we're going to change the whole music. He was like, the vibe kind of gives me like electronic, like Katy Perry vibes. So I was like, cool, yeah, we'll go with that. So the next week I came in, he was like, I'm after working on something. He took my vocal scratch from the first time I did it, which when I was like 19, so my vocals were like trash, they were so bad. And he made this whole song around it, and it was incredible. It was like the speakers literally blew off the roof, like it was crazy. And yeah, we decided that it was a good route to go in, and even though it's a completely different direction to what I normally do, I thought, I kind of don't like the idea of being boxed into one specific genre. It like kind of, I think it like puts like walls up around you, and then an artist goes, well, I can only do this because I'm only known for this, and then my audience won't pick it up. So if I start early releasing all types of music and stuff, hopefully my audience will just adapt to the fact that like I am a diverse artist and I can release whatever I want to, you know. I think it just decided itself. I think a lot of my music that I have been releasing just have like leaned towards a specific genre just by chance. But I think from here on out, like every song that I'm dropping from the next few months, next few years, is definitely, they're definitely different from each other. There's no like set genre. So I think it just happened by chance, to be honest with you. I don't think there was a set intention. I think my voice has always been pretty much the same. I think the only difference was I went to college to study musical theatre, and I trained as a soprano. So I think the vocal training made me more confident in where my voice was placed and stuff. So I think I used to sing like kind of like Billie Eilish, like head voice, but now I'm not afraid to kind of put everything in it and sing with all types of the ranges that I have. Um, yeah, so I think I'm just really sure of my voice, and it's always kind of had the same tone. I think definitely being in the studio, having vocal training behind you and having like a wide range of like training to pull from is definitely beneficial, because like if you need to do high notes, you can do it safely. Like I know how to train my voice in a safe way, so like I can continue singing for the rest of my life, and that's a huge thing. I think a lot of singers, especially pop singers, don't have vocal training and don't know how to safely sing, and I think that's very dangerous for people who are trying to sing for a long period of time. So I've just been very lucky that like everything that I've done kind of has led up to this one thing. I think soprano is it's kind of a required taste, and I think there's not much room for it in pop music. And I definitely think I will be up for experimenting with it at some stage. Um, I mean, you can kind of hear bits of it in my next song that I have coming up, because I do a lot of high range stuff, and it's like kind of Call of the Wood stuff, like like in the background and stuff. So you definitely will get like a feel for it. But I think I think I have to like set up for people to like listen to that full thing first, because people are gonna be like, whoa, where did this like opera singer come from, you know? But I definitely think as I get more comfortable in the genre that I'm sitting into, I think letting my vocals do what they want to do is will eventually happen in time. Like I work with Adam Shanahan and Alex O'Keefe, and Alex O'Keefe is actually my guitar player for when I play live gigs as well. And they're both extremely, extremely talented people. And I had a lot of stuff that I brought them that I made from like GarageBand, stuff like mediocre stuff that would be fine to post on SoundCloud, but they are so gifted and so well crafted that like they can take anything and make it sound like a class pop song that you would hear from the States, or that would compete with the likes of Justin Bieber or whatever. And I accidentally met Adam by working with the Tebby Rex boys, and I was really good friends with them, and they asked me to come in and write a chorus and a verse for one of their songs for their new album. So I went in and I wrote the verse, and Adam was like, whoa, I didn't realize that you were such a good writer or such a good singer, blah blah blah, who are you, where did you come from, because I wasn't in the scene yet at all. And yeah, he was like, I really want to work with you. So the next week we came in, I sent him all my drafts, and then we just started pulling from all my drafts, working on them. And he's such an incredible producer that like him fixing drum beats, him fixing whatever, adding guitar, adding synth is not a problem to him. So between two of us, and then Alex came in after, so between the three of us, we just happened to make these really cool pop songs. Thank you. I've been writing since I was 13. I picked up a guitar when I was 12 or 13 because I was obsessed with Taylor Swift at the time, and she was like my goddess. Like, I couldn't believe that she was writing songs about heartbreak, and that like I still think her recent album, or her first albums, are genuinely some of the best written albums out there. And I think that she really pushed me into picking up the guitar, writing, and that's how it started. But I was always really into poetry, and I was really always into writing stories. I would write stories for hours a day. So to be honest with you, writing poetry and writing stories isn't much different to writing songs. You just have to make them melodically fit. So it was kind of just a natural progression for me. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and I used to write strictly heartbreak songs, strictly sad songs, strictly things about this, because it was easier to write. And for a long time before I started doing music properly, I found it really difficult to write happy songs because there wasn't many of them. And pop songs, when you're not used to writing them, are very difficult to write because you have to have a catchy melody, a catchy chorus, a verse that's going to make people listen until the chorus. Like, there's a whole structure to it, and if you don't hit everything, it's going to flop. So it took me a long time to learn how to go from like Taylor Swift sad songs about heartbreak to writing pop songs, and it's a completely different thing. So I think where I'm sitting now, I'm in like a happy medium where I can still write sad songs, and I have loads of sad songs, but I can still write a catchy chorus that can be used for a pop song. So I think it's just age and experience, and listening to a lot of different music, and just trying to figure out where you stand and how you can bring what you want to say out to the table. Like both, I think especially if you're writing songs, like a song that I wrote, my recent single Signs, it started off strictly about me, and the song was about chasing someone that I was in a relationship with when I was 18, and that relationship ended badly. So when we pulled this back up, I kind of rewrote a lot of it to restructure it to what actually happened in the relationship. So sometimes I can pull things that I just think of that would make sense to the song, and sometimes I pull it from real life, what actually happened. It's all about finding balance and figuring out what's it and what sounds better, you know. So I actually have had a very weird run of things. I've done about, I'd say, 5 or 6 shows, and they have all gone from like the biggest stage in Ireland backwards. So I played Longitude in 2019. I played the main stage by chance, and that was my first ever show that I played. And then I played like the Sound House from there, and then I was supposed to be playing the Academy, which got rescheduled as well. But I played Academy. We supported Doja Cat. Yeah, just we've done, I used to be in a collective called the Good Buzz, and because of that, we've done big stages, and they've big support slots, and then they're kind of, I broke away from them, so now I'm kind of doing my own shows. I'm kind of starting from scratch again. So Whelan's was my first show where I've done my own. It was my own thing. I controlled everything that I did. And yeah, it's kind of a bummer that it's been pushed back a good few times. I think it's about 5 times now it's been rescheduled. So but we'll get there eventually next year, fingers crossed. I think I was nervous at the start, but then I have had so much time to think about what I want it to be, and there's so much time for rehearsal now and stuff that I just don't think I'm nervous. Maybe when it comes closer to the show I'll start breaking it a bit, but as of now I'm kind of fine. I have kind of, but not so, definitely not as much recently. I did a couple live videos, like live covers that I posted on Instagram and stuff, but I definitely I've been lacking on the live streams just because I have such fears about like internet connection, and like girl, don't even get me started. I can't even watching those like 9 or 9 things, and those like hot press things where the musician like struggles to get the connection, I would die. I would literally, like, I can't do it. I'd rather just sit in peace and watch them, like. Bad with tech stuff as well. Like the boys that are in my band, like, thank God they're so tech savvy, because I would not have a clue. I like struggle plugging mics in and everything. I'm so bad. I think a really big thing is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think when you're starting off, it's very intimidating because you think, God, how am I going to get to this level of these people? And like, I don't have a following and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't have a really big following, but it grows every few days, or like every day that someone streams my music or someone posts on Instagram, I get another follower. It's all a really slow process. So I think don't let everything intimidate you. Just release your music. If you like it and you listen to it, then it's going to be received well on some type of platform or some end. So I think a big thing is like the fear of releasing it and it flopping. So don't be afraid. Just throw it out, see what happens, and build on it from there. Because you without the experience, you'll never be able to grow. It is very difficult to catch people's attention. I'm not really massive into social media. I wouldn't be like posting Instagrams every day like, hey, check this out, whatever. Like, I just forget. Like, I have other stuff going on in my life, so I'm just like, I forget to post that, like, this is an update or whatever. I commend people who are able to stay on top of it. It is very hard to get a following and to keep it, because if you get it, fine, you could tweet one thing, it goes viral, and then you get loads of followers from that. But to keep that following and like a constant upkeep of reaction from people and getting comments and whatever, it's very difficult, and it's also expensive if you want to publicize it in a right way. So for a lot of new artists, it's not really sustainable, you know. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy how well this single is being received, because it's been received well, so much better than I thought it was going to be. I'm getting so many interviews, and I'm with you guys today, and every day I have another interview, and it's getting played on the radio all the time, which is crazy. I get into a taxi and it's playing in the taxi. I go into a shop, it's playing in the shop. Like, it's crazy. But I'm gonna enjoy that for a while, and then I think I'm just gonna keep releasing singles, and hopefully from then on maybe an EP. But there's nothing set in stone yet for the foreseeable. It's just releasing singles until we get out this whole lockdown situation, and then maybe start playing some live shows again. Literally cry every single time, no matter what. I walked into an interior design shop because I was trying to buy a couch for my mom the other day, and it was playing in the shop, and I was literally in the middle of the shop being like, that's me. It's something that like you dream about when you start off music. Like when I started off music, I was like, oh my God, if my songs ever played on the radio, I must make it big, because they wouldn't play it if it wasn't good. And like to have it play on the radio all the time and be on 2FM playlists and like be a constant thing on the radio, it's just crazy. Like it's such a lovely feeling, and long may it continue. For sure, yeah. I think this year in general was supposed to be was tipped to be a quite a big year for me with festival season and stuff. I was playing a lot of huge festivals this year, which I was so lucky to get. But hopefully with all these like small victories, that it will lead up to better spots next year and stuff. So fingers crossed that everything works out. I was devastated, because it was something that I was really looking forward to. Like, I had only played one festival before. It was Longitude, and it was the main stage, and I was in the dressing room with Cardi B, next door to Juice WRLD, like the Brockhampton boys were walking around like playing pool. It was crazy. And I think that I've set myself up for like that to happen again this year, but by myself kind of thing. And when it didn't happen, I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not gonna get an opportunity like this again and stuff. But I think I had a very pessimistic way of looking at it, and just because it didn't happen this year doesn't mean it won't happen next year, you know. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm a big fan of your blog and stuff, so it's very cool to be asked to do this interview.